All right, welcome back everybody to another edition of Forgotten First. This is the video series that I do where I'm talking about those ignored, forgotten about, overlooked first appearances that you might not be thinking about right now or might not have been aware of at all. That's what we're kind of covering here with these. Now, I decided to kind of maybe do a little something you might actually know. Some of these books you might actually know a little bit, but I felt, you know what? I'm kind of looking forward to Green Lantern on HBO Max. So why not cover some first appearances of some characters we know are going to be on that HBO Max show? So please like, subscribe, hit the alert button so you don't miss any of the content on the channel. Let me know what you think in the comment section. I appreciate the feedback. Let me know some books you might want to see for this series or any of the other series that I do here on Rennavision. We are getting so close to that 1,000 subscriber mark. Hopefully we hit it very soon, and I have a huge giveaway going on once we do hit that mark. Check out the video on my channel to find out what's actually in that prize and, see what you might have a chance at winning, because I'm going to have it open to everybody. I'll give you the details once we hit 1,000, but it's going to be open to basically everybody who subscribes to the channel. So thank you all for the support. Hang on for 1 second, and I'll be right back to talk about some Green Lantern firsts. All right, so there in the open, I mentioned that we're going to be talking about Green Lantern. I mean, that's if you can look at what I'm wearing and what I'm drinking out of my glass, it should not have been a surprise that I'm talking about the Green Lantern Corps, basically HBO Max. I don't know if they're what they're going to call the show precisely. It might be Green Lantern Corps. It might just be Green Lantern, Green Lanterns. I don't know, but what we do know is that some of these characters are definitely slated to appear, from Guy Gardner, Kilowog, Jessica Cruz, and Simon Baz. Now, we're not going to cover Guy Gardner here because that book is pretty well known, has been for a while, and is already pretty pricey. So we're not going to be talking about that. And while even some of these other first appearances might be a little bit on the more expensive end for what I usually cover here, when I'm usually talking about books in like that $20 to $30 range at most, I still felt that it was prudent to cover all of these characters. So I'm going to actually talk about the other three. Because a lot of people still might not know. I don't want to take for granted what people know and don't know out there as far as first appearances go. So that's why I do this. So with that said, we're going to go with our first book and our first character, and we are going to be looking at Kilowog here. March 1986, first Kilowog in Green Lantern Corps 201. This is a book that's been out a while. It's definitely there. I think there was a bunch of first appearances in there, but Kilowog is definitely the prize of this batch, and he's a great character. I like Kilowog personally. I've liked him in everything they've done, even the crappy Green Lantern movie that Ryan Reynolds did. I still like Michael Clark Duncan's voice doing Kilowog, and I like the idea of that drill sergeant trainer kind of a role that he plays in in the comics, and some of the things we've seen from the Green Lantern animated series, which was very well done, as well to some of the other animated things we've seen. Hopefully they do him properly and it's not lackluster. But given the quality of the products they've been putting out, even with Titans, like Trigon, I think they did pretty well with the animation for a non-humanistic character. So hopefully they can do that kind of level of detail and hold it up for a character like Kilowog on a weekly basis, or however long this show runs for, or this limited series, whatever it might be. Hopefully they can pull it off for him. So let's see what we're going to have for Kilowog. Going back, Green Lantern Corps 201. This book is about 15 bucks. Yeah, this is about what it sells for, $15. It's definitely not super expensive, but that is something that I think is a good buy-in price for a first appearance of this, this magnitude for this character. Like I said, you get a few other of the Green Lanterns in there as well in the core, I believe, in this one, because I think this was where they premiered it at issue 201 after renaming it from the regular Green Lantern series, adding it to the Green Lantern Corps with 201. So that's the first book we have to talk about today, which will take us to our next book, which is a free comic book day book. So this one's free. It's a free book. May 2012, the New 52, free comic book day. This is the first appearance of Simon Baz. This is it. I mean, I know it's kind of a preview book, and that's not everybody's cup of tea, but it is what it is. This is, his first appearance in here. Yes, and he's a Green Lantern who carries a gun, or at least did when he first started. But you look inside this book, the guts, there are a few pages, some panels. You can see there, it's obviously the Green Lantern. It's obviously Simon Baz. He's previewed here. And there he is. Not a lot, to be sure. And it is a preview, but he's there. Definitely he's there. Now, this book, in and of itself, even though it's a free comic book day book, could still be about 15 bucks. Best offer on 15 bucks. So somewhere in that 10 to $15 range is what it might cost you if you're going out to go buy one. Now, I know that's not a great first appearance, but it is what it is. We can't change what the first appearance is. But we can also kind of look at this September 2012 Green Lantern number 0, which gives you more of an introduction and the origin of the character. So it is also a good book to have. And plus you get that gun-wielding Green Lantern right there on the cover. This book also has a combo pack, and there is also a incentive variant where it's actually on the side. I didn't get an image of that because it's just not something that's great. But so keep an eye out for that book too if you are interested. But that's what it is. Simon Baz is in that New 52 free comic book day book, but if you want his origin, you're going to be looking for Green Lantern 0. So let's keep that in mind. Which is going to take us to our next book and next character that has a lot of firsts. May 2013 is the first appearance of first cameo, I guess you would say, of Jessica Cruz in this Green Lantern number 20. Yes, I hate those qualifications of first full, first cameo and all of that. But realistically, if you look at this book, you don't see this character in there. What you see is that hand and the name Jessica. That's all you're getting. This right here. Yep. Simon Baz, but you get the name Jessica, you see a glowing hand. That's your first. So cameo, I think, is an appropriate qualification for this one personally. Now, this is actually a double-sized or a triple, I don't know. This is a thick book, and it's square bound, which makes the fact that it is a wraparound cover kind of tough because you can't really unwrap it without destroying that spine. But it is a wraparound cover, so it is still pretty cool if you want to just flip it over to look at it. But definitely a thick book and the epic finale, of the wrath of the First Lantern, that storyline. So it is what it is. That is her first cameo, but that's it. This book is not super expensive, but not super cheap either. It's in that just under $30 range, as many of these actually are for these multiple firsts that she actually has. So why do I say multiple firsts? Because they kind of slow play her character's rollout. It's almost like what Marvel does today. May of 2014, in Justice League number 30, we get what some might say, well, this is first Jessica Cruz, but again, one has to say this might also be considered a cameo as well. I've got the combo pack right next to me here, so there are other versions of this book, but you're really only getting this splash page of her. Like, that's really all that's in this book. I mean, it's a pretty cool panel, and Jessica Cruz, she's been chosen. This is where she's getting a ring. That's a cool moment, but that's really all you're getting for this. So again, you might say second cameo. I don't know how you want to qualify it, but her full name is listed at least. And this book is also about 20 bucks. I mean, you can go for more, but it could be had for about 20 bucks. And then the next issue of Justice League number 31, one could argue that this would finally be the first full appearance for Jessica Cruz. You get multiple panels in here. You get her as a Green Lantern, even though she kind of looks like a member of Motley Crue, or maybe even Bret Michaels with that headband. And it's just, I don't know what the cloverleaf thing around her eye was. It's not the greatest design, but thankfully it didn't last that long. But this, you would have to say, is a solid first full appearance for her in Justice League number 31. So there's already 3 books you have to have for her first. But funny enough, she's still not a Green Lantern at this point. She's Power Ring here. And it says right on the front, the new Power Ring. So she's Power Ring in this Justice League number 31. And this is also about 25 bucks this could be had for. So still in that $20 to $30 range, that's where you're finding all of these first appearances for Jessica Cruz for the most part. And I decided, since we're doing this and we're talking about Green Lanterns, I got one more Jessica Cruz book to talk about. And this is from May 2016, and that's Justice League number 50, because this is really her first as a Green Lantern. So why not talk about this too? It is a first. It's her first as a Green Lantern, and we're talking about forgotten first. You might have forgotten all of these first appearances Jessica Cruz had. We're up to 4, fellas and ladies. Definitely a book that has had a lot of interest over the last couple of years, not only because of her being introduced as a new Green Lantern, welcoming her to the Green Lantern Corps, but there's another first, if you will, in this book as well. But that's kind of a not something we're really looking at just yet. So Justice League number 50. This is also $20 to $30 book, just like the rest. It's pretty much become the standard. It's been this way for a while. I mean, as soon as we actually see her, maybe even promo images, these prices might go back up because these books were all higher not that long ago. These were all pretty solid $50 books for a good stretch of time, but now they've kind of lulled back down with no real news. But we do know she's coming, and she's going to be on the Green Lantern show on HBO Max, so these could pop again. But what else did we have in this book that I mentioned? It's the first mention of the 3 Jokers. So that's another reason why this Justice League 50 kind of popped not that long ago as well. When we got that mention of the 3 Jokers, that took a while. This was what, 2016? We just maybe a year or so ago finally got that story. But that is why this book also had some interest, because Batman had figured out there were 3 Jokers and noted it. So that's a story for another time. We're not really going to get into that, but just figured we'd mention it because it did happen in that book. So that being said, thank you for stopping by. Hopefully you enjoyed that quick little nuggets of information. I know you might have known some of those first, particularly the Jessica Cruz, because she has gotten hot plenty of times before. She had that Green Lantern animated movie that was all for her versus the Fatal Five, basically, that caused a little bit of a spike in some of her books. But who knows what her appearances on an HBO Max series might do for her stuff. But Simon Baz is another good one. And again, like I said, I'm a big fan of Kilowog, so it's good to talk about his books as well, or his book. So that being said, please like, subscribe, tell your friends. Let's get to that 1,000 subscriber mark. And I will see you guys next time.